I have an assignment. My assignment is to teach you how to DJ like a pro in 2025. This video is strictly for beginners. As a DJ, your assignment is to play so many songs in a chain as if it was just a single song playing. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your favorite DJ Prof. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, hit the subscribe button. Let's dive straight into this video. In front of me, I have what is called a DJ controller. A DJ controller basically have two sections. That is the player section, which is this one right here, and the mixer section, which is this one in the middle. Now, I didn't point at this section because this section is identical to this one. So whatever I will be saying on this section directly applies to this section. Also, whatever I say on this section directly applies to this other section. Let's look at some few buttons and knobs, and then we will do the mixing. Let's have a look at the player section, this one. So this is the left deck and this is the right deck, right? You may call this deck 1 and this will be deck 2. For a controller like this one that has 4 of them, then this will also be 3 and this will be 4. Like deck 1 and 3, deck 2 and 4, right? But today we are going to focus only on 2 decks, deck 1 and deck 2, not to confuse you. Ignore the 3 and 4, okay? Let's look at some few buttons on deck 1. That's the left deck, okay? Here we have this button blinking in green. Here is the play and pause button. When you hit this button, the song on this deck will play. You hit it again, the song is going to pause. Let's do this. Just like that. Now, above it, we have another button that is called the Q button, blinking in red, right? It's quite similar to this one, but the difference between this and this is that when you hit this button like this, you hear the sound punching, right? But the song doesn't play. But if you hit and hold it, the song is going to play. And if you let it go, the song is going to stop. And when it stops, it comes back to the original position when you hit this button. Let's do this. Let it go. It comes back to that same position, right? Now, for you to be able to let the song to continue to play, you hit on this button, hold it. While the song is playing, you hit the play button with your next finger. The song will continue to play. Let's do this. Okay, as simple as that, okay? As simple as that. Now, directly above it, we have the sync button. I'm not going to talk a lot about this right now. I will be talking about it when we start mixing. Okay, now, so let's look at this big thing that we have over here. This big thing over here is called the jog wheel. It is used to speed up a song or slow down a song. So if we turn it clockwise, we are speeding up the song. And if we turn it anti-clockwise, we are slowing down the song. And when you let it go, the song returns to its original speed. Let's try this. Let's speed up the song. And now let's slow down the song. Okay, you surely notice that when I let it go, it returns to the original speed of the song. Now, just beside it is what we call the tempo fader. This tempo fader, you can also use it to speed up a song or to slow down a song. But the difference between these two is that if you push this upward, we are slowing down the song, and we push it downward, we are speeding up the song. And when you let this go, the song stays at that speed, unlike this. Let's look at the mixer section. We are going to be talking about a few, knobs here. Let's start with this one at the bottom right here. It's called the crossfader. It's called the crossfader because whatever action you take with this knob, it directly affects these 2 decks, okay? So it works across these 2 decks. This knob is usually useful for DJ who scratch. If you are not a scratching DJ, if you don't do things like this, then you usually don't need this knob. Just keep it here in the middle. when it is in the middle, the volume of this deck will be heard and the volume of this deck will be heard. But if we push it all the way to the right, only the volume of this deck will be heard. If we push it all the way to the left, only the volume of the left deck will be heard. Okay, that is what this button basically does. Here you must have seen me pushing these two buttons, right? Let's talk about them. They are also volume faders, right? But the difference between them and this one is that this one is for this deck and this other one is for this deck. So whatever action you take here applies only to this deck, and whatever action you take with this one apply only to this deck. So they are not cross fader. They are simply volume faders for the respective decks. Okay, so when they are right down here, it means nothing will be heard in the speakers because you have killed the volume. Now for something to be heard in the speakers, you have to push them up. Right now for the right deck, let's play the song on the right deck. You won't hear anything when I play it because the volume is down, and when I take it upward, you will hear something from the speaker. Let's do this. Right now you can't hear anything. Let's start by pushing it upward. Pretty sure you heard the volume. So the same thing applies to this one. If you want us to try that, let's do this. We hit play. You can't hear the volume because it's right down. Then push it upward. And finally, you could hear the volume. So that is how these buttons work. And let's have a little look at this section right here, right? Now, here we have the frequencies. The low frequency, mid frequency, and the high frequencies. You know, every song has this. The low frequencies, what we usually call bass, we have the mid and the high, right? For you to fully understand what this means, we have to play a song and then play around with this. I'm going to turn all of them all the way to the left so that you can feel the song. Okay, let's play the song on deck 1. That is the left deck, this one right here. So let's play the song. Let's go. To life. So like I said, whatever I explain here directly works with this other one. They are basically the same, right? And then there is one other button I would like to show you before we start mixing. Okay, this button is this one right here. On my deck is called the browse button. It could be different on your deck, but they are going to do basically the same job. So by rotating this button clockwise or anti-clockwise moves you up and down your playlist. We have 2 songs on our playlist. Let's hover over them by rotating this button. Yeah, just like that. We have just 2. If there were more, then you will see me going up and down, right? Just like I'm doing here. And when you are on a song, let's say for example the second one where I am right now, and I want to put this song on deck A, now we have this other little button here that says load, and there is L on it. This L simply means left. It could be 1 on your deck, it could be whatever on your deck, but they function the same. So this left here means this deck, the left deck. And on this other side of this browse button, we have this same button, this one here, and on it is written right. So when you are on a song and you hit left, that means the song you are on will be loaded on this deck. Let's hit left, this one, yes, and then we hit right. It's going to be loaded on the right deck, just like that. If you are getting any value from this content, please hit the subscribe button for more. Okay, now guys, let us go now into mixing. For you to be able to mix, you should have more than 1 song, right? Now we have 2. There is one on our right deck and there is one on our left deck. Let me play the song on the right deck so that you listen to how it plays, and the one on the left deck so that you also listen to how it plays before we start mixing. The song on the right deck, just hit play on the right deck. Okay, and the song on the left deck. So now our job is to move from the song on deck A to the song on deck B as if it was just a single song. That is the whole job of a DJ. Just move from one song to the other without your crowd noticing the jumps, right? Okay, that doesn't sound right? You could hear the drums clashing and some other things clashing. That doesn't sound right. That's what you shouldn't do, right? Now, our job is to move from the song on deck 1 to the song on deck 2 without the crowd even noticing it, seamlessly, right? As if it was one song playing. And for us to do this, this was happening, one, because this song on this deck is 103 beats per minute, that's BPM, and the one on this other deck is 102 beats per minute. So this one is much more faster than this one. So for us to do this seamlessly, the first thing we will have to do is to make sure that both songs are of the same BPM. Okay, I earlier talked about this sync button on my deck. It helps me a lot. If I want the song on deck 2 to be 103 as a song on deck 1 that is playing out, I will simply hit on the sync button on this deck. Just a hit, that automatically works. Okay, let's try this. If I do this, automatically it's 103 as well, back to their original BPM. If you don't want to do this by hitting the sync button, we now have to utilize this tempo fader, the one I showed you before. You can simply use this. Since we want the song to be as fast as this one, then we move it downward slowly until we get there. It could be very tedious at times. That's why I really like the sync button, because with the sync button I could just hit this and I am there. So if you don't like the sync button, always use this tempo fader to match the BPM. So mixing, we will consider 8 steps, right? The step number 1 is to match the BPM, which is what we have done. Then step number 2 is to enable the headset. The headset, we have to enable them by hitting this button right here and also this button right here, because you will want to hear both tracks playing in your ear. You have to do everything while listening to the tracks on your headphones, right? And then the next thing we will be doing is to kill the low of deck 2. This one, the low. We kill it, we bring it down. That is step number 3. We bring it down, and then on step number 4, we press play on deck 2. Step number 4, press play on deck 2. When we press play on deck 2, that takes us now to step number 5, where we have to beat match. By beat matching, we will have to use the jog wheel that I showed you earlier. Either we will be moving the song forward or we move it backward, depending on the position where we find ourselves. If we are behind the song in deck A, we simply move it forward, and if we are ahead, we simply move it backward, so that the grid should match. Something like this or like this, right? Okay, so and after doing that, that is step number 5. That takes us to step number 6, which is we bring in the song on deck number 2 by pushing this volume control knob upward, slowly, gently. Don't do it like this. No, that will be too harsh. We do it gently, slowly, gently. Good. And after doing that, we now move to step 7, which is we switch the lows. Remember, we killed the low of deck 2. So what we will do now is to bring it back in while killing the low of deck A. So we do this simultaneously with both hands like this. Right? Okay. And after doing that, this now takes us to step number 8. Depending on the position where we are on the song and where we want to do the transition, we simply now kill the volume of deck A. We bring it out, and then deck 2 will continue to play. At this point, the transition is completed. Let me do it practically so that we understand all what I have shown here. So right now I'm going to bring back everything to normal. Simple as that, we have completed our transition. And maybe I do this again so that you can fully understand what I just did. 1, we match the BPM. 2, we enable the headphones. Number 3, we kill the low on deck 2. Number 4, we press play on deck 2. Number 5, we beat match. Number 6, we bring in deck 2. Then number 7, we switch the lows. And then number 8, we take out track 1 at that point where we want to take it out. Okay, so let's do this. I will be a little faster this time around. So let's take another one more time and do this. Okay, finally the transition has been completed. That was quite easy, right? If you are having fun with this video, please hit the subscribe button and don't forget to share. Thank you very much. At this point, we come to the end of our video. Thank you.